Welcome, everyone. It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 913. Today, going to talk about QuickBooks for desktop because there's a lot of confusion, and I had to work out something with a client. I have a server story. I have a Squarespace and GoDaddy. I have lots of stories from the trenches. I have a stack of mail that I don't know if I'm going to get to because some of the stories may take a little time. So last Thursday, I wanted to do the show and I just couldn't. I got dropped with a lot of client work and I had no choice. Had to take care of all of that. So one of the things that it's so hot and humid everywhere, and I hope everybody's staying cool. So that's why I wanted to record this on Saturday. Last Saturday, had a barbecue, and friends, family, and an old friend came by, and he brought something for me because we all owned them years ago, and he brought the Squeezy Gateway 2000 cow. And I owned a Gateway, I think 486 and then a Pentium years ago. Loved my Gateway systems, and that was that after I was building. I built XT clones in another lifetime years and years ago, and after that, just would never build another system again. I don't want to build systems. And I liked the price I was able to get with all the features that I wanted, and it was just cute. And I had to bring, and I'm sure this brings up memories for some of you, the Gateway cow. All right. So just getting work done, so much work, so much work. And after the show, the last show, show 912, had an emergency with a server for a client. They had a planned power outage. Everything shut down, and you know what happens. It's always the startup. And this server, we already have the replacement server. It's been way too long. It's a Dell PowerEdge, but it's very old. I mean, like 15 years old, and it's running Windows Server 2008. And we have to get rid of it. We know we have to get rid of it. It's running an ERP software that also has to be updated. There are now specific plans to get over to that, but here's what happened. When it shut down and they tried to start it up, wouldn't start. And there was a lot of clicking. Now, the clicking was the RAID controller. So I had to quickly shower, get dressed. I head down and I met the on-site IT guy, and he had already opened up the server, and we downloaded the manual so we could quickly take a look at some things. And it's replacement parts. That's the problem for an old server. And here's the bottom line. And this is a mission critical server. So we already started thinking how we're going to migrate the database over to a test system that we have. And then I was going to get it going with the data. And so we would have spent the whole weekend making that happen. So I was really, really glad when we accidentally discovered holding the reset button in for more than a minute. Not only did it boot, it booted successfully with no trouble. So clearly there's a problem with the power supply. I've ordered one, and I've been waiting forever, and supposedly it's going to be delivered Monday. So we really need that because there's another planned power outage for the plant. And this is just getting ugly, and we know we got to move the server, but there's not to the new server, but there's not enough time. But I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that, holding the button in, and we just found that out by accident, and it booted up, and we were like, oh my gosh. So now I have everything backed up. As a matter of fact, that server's backed up by Shadow Protect every night and online at MagnusBox. So I feel good about the data. It's just that we can't have a prolonged outage because that runs the whole manufacturing plant for everything. So that's why now the necessity to get that server up and running, and can't wait till that power supply comes in, because it would be nice. I also want to get the RAID controller. Anything that's major that can go down over the next month, I got to be able to pop it in and get it running. All right. I'm sure you got old server stories. Love to hear that. That would be cool. And of course, anything for email, it's miketechshow@gmail.com. All right, QuickBooks. So now, QuickBooks for desktop, they've already announced that it's going to be gone, that it's going away. But there is still a way to get QuickBooks, and I worked with the bookkeeper, the company that does the bookkeeping for one of my clients that has many, many databases that they use QuickBooks for desktop, and it's 2019 and they need to upgrade. And here's the thing. First, the only way to get it legitimately is to call, and the phone number I'm going to have in the show notes. It's 888-333-3451. You have to have your Intuit account. So even though you're not QuickBooks Online, you have to have an Intuit account online. So you need and verify that you have the password and that you can connect online. Now, the pricing is ridiculous. It's $9.49 annually per simultaneous user. And if you're going to maintain QuickBooks for desktop, you need to do this before 10/1, because after 10/1, that price goes up to $13.99 per user. That is insane. Then if you need more than that, and they think that that's going to go away. So one of the things, in order to stay with the desktop version, you got to do this before the end of the month based on what version of QuickBooks for desktop that you are using. And what I recommend, how many simultaneous users do you have? Are you going to remain on QuickBooks for desktop because you can't move to the cloud? Now, this client, it would be crazy pricey because they have so many databases that they maintain, and you have to pay for each one if you're going online. So is QuickBooks for desktop going away? Well, technically no, because they have an enterprise feature where you can continue to keep QuickBooks for desktop, but that is going to be around $3,000 per year for just being able to use it. And I'm not sure how many users that is. That may only be one user. So my client had to purchase the 2 users, so he just dropped $2,000, and I have a week to upgrade. So that's on my schedule for next week, because I have to upgrade the server, the peer server for the database manager. Then I need to install it on and upgrade on 3 computers. Then I have to log into each database and upgrade it. And there's a dozen databases. So I'm going to have to spend time logging in as the admin for each one with the new version so it can convert the data to the latest version. Before I do that, I'm going to make sure I have a safety backup of all of those databases. Have to have that. So now that I'm going to post a link also that is for where you go in order to download the version that you're looking for. So I'm going to have the phone number that I mentioned, 888-333-3451, and then the link for downloading after you make the purchase. So, wow, this is, I wanted to talk about this from the last show, and I was hoping to do it on the 4th of July, but then I couldn't because of just too many family things happening. So I know it's been a few days since we've talked last. So let me keep going here as I look at all my notes. Here we go. Manually connecting a GoDaddy domain to your Squarespace site. And this, I was helping a listener who contacted me, who had everything set up, and this is a link that I will have in the show notes for manually connecting a GoDaddy domain when you're in Squarespace. And you have to navigate to the domains, and that's not as easy as it sounds, because we had to go through settings and then another option. You got to keep going to where you can connect your domain, and the page will have an option, use a domain I own. And that is the secret. Once you do that, you can now connect your domain, and you can let Squarespace make the DNS entries. Just have your GoDaddy login. And my listener client knew his login, and we were able to do this and successfully connect. And one of the nice benefits when you do have a Squarespace website is they provide the SSL for free. So I was worried if you bring your own domain and use it, we were concerned, does that qualify? Does it get the SSL? Well, it does. Took a few minutes after we've connected the domain, but we tested it, and like maybe a half hour later, everything was fine, and the SSL was applied to the website. So he's happy, and I figured this is a great story to share because, some people are, you're into this, and you're in this situation, and I don't want you to give up your DNS entries by letting Squarespace take over the domain, especially if you already own the domain at Network Solutions or GoDaddy. Do not let them just take over the domain. You want to be in possession of it, and so this link to the notes will help you through that. So this way you can maintain keeping your own domain and your own control over it with your own name servers, the GoDaddy name servers in this case, and you're not at the mercy of Squarespace or Wix for that matter. That's another, popular website design that I run into this a lot. And normally it's after the fact, and it's after they've had problems. And even my listener, the reason why he reached out to me was when they attempted this once, someone was helping them. They lost all their email. They lost the ability to get email. That's because they don't maintain all of the proper DNS records. You have to log in to where the DNS is hosted, and you got to make sure you have a copy of every single DNS entry if you are going to allow another web host to take over the DNS, because you now got to go in and edit and make sure that all those things carry, because they do not all the time. And I know a lot of you have written in and agreed, as I've always talked about, where the web designer takes control of DNS and then the client loses access to their email. Happens all the time. So once I'm involved, then you don't have to worry, because now I'll ask the web person, give me the IP address of the A record, and I'll take care of that entry. I'll do it right away. And then we have no problems. Okay, that was the Squarespace story. There's so much. Here's one that I had to find out. Adobe DC Pro, full version. It was so irritating, the new menu. If you click the it's not a gear, but the dashes or whatever in the upper left-hand side of Adobe, you can scroll down and pick change to old menu. Oh my gosh. And disable the new menu. I am happy. I have clients that are happy, and I'm so glad Adobe left that as an option. I'm still trying to get rid of. Adobe keeps annoying me every time I launch a PDF. It wants me to use the AI and sign up and use the AI. I don't want to use the AI. I have no need in my Adobe Acrobat to use the AI, but yet I cannot get rid of that annoyance. So that's another problem. I have a question from a client who I'm working with. They have a hotmail.com email address from Microsoft. Now, all of a sudden, he uses Pop. All of a sudden, and his password is good because we've logged in to the email to Outlook.com with no issue. And so we've checked the password, but it keeps popping up in Outlook 365 to ask for the password. Now, I know there's other credentials and things to do, but it was almost like the server was down. I switched him from Pop to IMAP, and that worked, but only for a few days. And then it stopped. And now Outlook won't talk to the servers. Is anybody else running into a hotmail.com getting that through Outlook? I would be, email me, MikeTechShow@gmail.com. I would love to know. I still need to do some more research. This has been happening this week, so haven't had a chance to do the research I want to do. New client that I helped and actually finished up yesterday. Him and his wife sold the business, and they still have their the one person has his email, and it's hosted at Microsoft, and his laptop is married to Azure Active Directory for online. And I needed to decouple him from that login to his own because he's, leaving the business because he sold it. But they're still giving him access, which is good. I created a local account. And then to log into that local account, when you're on an Azure machine, you have to put the computer name, / and then the username you created. So once I did that, that was fine. But even before, he needed his email, and we wanted to grab it all as a PST, and that was a piece of cake. So went into his main profile and did an export from Outlook to a PST file, put it into another directory on the C drive. Then had him purchased Office 365 Family for himself because his Office license is going to go away once they decouple him from their Azure and Office 365. So once I got the Outlook, set up the local profile, got his Outlook set up with Gmail, and now attached the PST. Now, one of the nice things he got is the shared drive. He knew enough to copy all of his files that he needed off that shared drive that's on a server and that's now in a directory on his laptop, and that was great. So he did the hard work in getting that done. So I took care of the email. Now, I didn't want to decouple everything for a few days. Want him to run and make sure that he can log in both if there's anything missing. So want him to give the all clear, and I've already talked to the company that manages the IT for the business, and what I will email him when he's going to decouple it, and then I can remove the profile. But the big thing when anybody has Azure and you're going to be removing them from that is you got to create that local administrator account. That is very, very important, because once you're separated, you have all kinds of trouble trying to log in to the laptop. So I also noticed they have their own local admin account, and I'll clean that up as soon as everything is separated and we call it, decoupled. So, couple big things. We're keeping our wiring guy very busy. A big job has just started happening where we have a large dental office. Well, it's going to be larger. There's 6 exam rooms today. There's going to be 12 and possibly a lot more. So have a new building, and they are still constructing things, but before they put the drywall up, we got our wiring guy in there that's going to be running all the wires. This is a server, multiple new desktops. This is a large project, and I spending time working with that. So I will keep you posted on the good, the bad, the ugly that's going to happen as we migrate from the current office to the bigger new office, which I'm looking forward to, because, man, they are out of space. It was just growing tremendous and at a rate that was just unbelievable. And he far exceeded his goals of what he anticipated the size he would be at right now. And it is just amazing. So I just wanted to throw that out there. There is even more work as I'm trying to look at my notes here. But you know what we're going to do? Let's get to a couple of emails. And I'm going to do some older emails first, just following up. Dave from Miami, thank you so much. I had a typo in the link on YouTube for the show notes that it didn't work. And when he emailed me after the show on the 27th of June, so he emailed me on Friday in the morning, and I quickly logged in and fixed that link. So Dave, thank you. And anybody out there, if you see a problem with my website, it's not coming up, or there's a problem, email me, because you know what? I may not know it yet. So it's important, and thank you, for letting me know, and please continue to do that. So this is from Doug. Regarding your recent discussions of creating a local account for Windows 11 Pro 24H2, I have not purchased a new Dell that has 24H2 pre-installed yet, so have not had a chance to try my preferred method, which I have not heard you describe as being available or not available on 24H2. During initialization of Windows, choose Setup for Work or School rather than personal use. On the next screen, instead of entering a MS account, click the link for sign-in options, select Domain Join instead, then enter the name of your local account. With this method, I am never prompted to join a domain or sign in with a Microsoft account, even if I connect it to the internet through the whole process. Doug, thank you so much. That I have not tried that. I will absolutely give that a try on the next new install. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. This is another follow-up on the Windows local account, and this is from System Beheader. Okay. Sam. I am emailing you this because you had issues installing a Windows 11 local account. I made a little video that demos how easy it is to make a local account on Windows 11 Pro. I say Pro because that is what you need to make this work. Yes, that's a definite. I will make the assumption that you will only sell Pro machines for business customers. That is correct. In this video, you will the blank process of how I make a local account on a brand new computer. This is recorded in a VM, but the result will be the same on any other machine. The only thing that is cut in the video are the Windows loading screens and updates. He has a link, and I'm going to put that out there. Now you see me click the button to join a domain, but this just makes a local account. There is no prompt to join the domain. So now we have a video to match what Doug has already recommended, and that is awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh, here we go. This is from David, a different David. I ran across this article this morning and thought I'd pass it along to you to share with your listeners. It's a good explanation of the various components of DNS. It might be helpful to someone who experienced the issue that he had. So let me, I'm opening the link, and this is a great little graphic of the DNS that might help explain some things. So I will have a link for that in the show notes. And David, thank you very much. Let me get back to more emails here. This is the last email I'm going to do. I have a stack that, and including recommendations for show topics. Please keep sending them. So, Tom, I have your show topic segment, and Joe, who's a friend, I have your show topic. I got your email, and I'm going to incorporate that. This is a link, and this is from Vaughn, and this is about my SharePoint for access without needing a Microsoft account. In one of your shows in early June, you asked about giving access to a SharePoint site to people outside the tenant. In case you have not already found the answer, I just went through this on a Microsoft 365 small business tenant using this link as a guide. So we have another link here that I'm going to share, and remember, in the show notes. And let's continue. I am now able to add guests as members of the site or just share specific folders in the documents section of the site with users outside the tenant using their email address. Other Microsoft 365 business tenants will use their account to authenticate with Microsoft. I believe they can also use OneDrive to sync with their site and or share. Personal Microsoft accounts can also be used to authenticate with MS to gain access, but the personal OneDrive will not sync with the site. Other email accounts can be used. When they sign into Microsoft with the email account, they will be sent an OTP to the email address for authentication. The other option is to create password-protected shared links to folders, but there are some limitations with the shared links, like not being able to delete even when given edit permissions. Ooh, that's a thank you for letting me know that. All right, so that is it for today's show. As we record this on a Saturday afternoon, I want to thank everybody for staying connected with me and downloading and staying subscribed to the show. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to view the video at youtube.com/, qquipbooks.com/MichaelSmithMTS. Please remember, hit the donate button and contribute to the show from my website at miketechshow.com. That'll keep the lights on. That'll be a big help. I really, really appreciate all of your support. That's it. Thank you so much, and should see you this Thursday. Everything being normal and working, and everybody just have a great rest of your weekend and the rest of the week, and I'll see you back here Thursday. Bye-bye. Let me